against figures say United go lose. Then my friend no, Danny Vivian, you go chop red. Vivian, il m'appelait comme ça.
Vivian, no.
Vivian, on a Vivian,
Vivian,
It's sad,
Charlie. Yesterday Vivian chop hot.
He chop hot. He chop red card clean.
Like that too.
You are pulling the player. You don't expect a red card.
Imagine.
It's the clearest red card I've seen in my life. I've never seen a clearer red card like that in my life.
See the referee force.
What a referee!
So it's a 100% red card. And the rule even backs it.
Quick.
I mean, the conversation was about a double punishment rule, where if there's a foul leading to a pen, the penalties seem to be enough punishment. Then maybe you look at. But there's a caveat to that rule, which says that the player must be looking to at least
play the ball.
And in the process maybe catches man.
Exactly.
What should I acquire to form?
So you say you are not serious.
To play the ball.
Vivian. I love you, Charlie. What a player.
We'll get into Vivian and his antics in what's the correct pronunciation, sir? Is it of Spanish or French descent?
Vivian?
Yeah. No, this particular guy.
No, it's Danny Vivi. Be French. He be Spanish guy. Yeah.
Spanish. Yeah. Okay. We'll get into that. But Daniel, let's start from.
Vivian.
Look, the Black Lights are in action later tonight. They are taking on DR Congo. Daniel, it's going to be our first group game in Egypt. Now, for those who listen to Sports Center today, I got a few reactions from people who didn't like the fact that I pointed out our recent record in the group phase of the competition, and that beyond winning the opening group game, we don't seem to do well in the group stage. But yeah, we don't necessarily need to win every game to qualify, thanks to the regulations, because you could still qualify as one of the two best third place teams in the group. But the team, they've been in Egypt for a while, I think 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, having trained for some time in Ghana, although there was a small matter of the head coach Desmond Affair not being with them to Morocco for that pre-tournaments, the mini four-nation tournaments that they engage in. Basicho, a lot seems to rest on Desmond Affair's competence and his capacity to get something out of this team.
Yeah, a lot. And Ghanaians are very hopeful because it's Desmond Affair. And again, when Desmond has been here with us for the youth teams, he's done a great job, to be fair.
Yeah.
He plays exciting brand of football. He's got a charisma about him. You know, he speaks well, he handles the press well. So he's a manager that Ghanaians are keeping the tabs on. Also, there's the added pressure that Ghana hasn't been at the World Cup for a very long time. And this presents a very good opportunity. I think that when you look at the squad as it is, there is some hope, because again of the manager Affair, that people think that because he did it with the All African Games, because we've seen his team play some brilliant football, he could be the X factor. He could be the Ghana's always had quality players at under 20 level. The problem most of the time had been how well they can fit together as a unit, and if their campaign has been good. I think the FA can look at the job they've done with the team or on the team in terms of preparation and be proud that they've done a decent job, giving the boys the opportunity to go out there and then qualify to the World Cup. So a lot will rest on Affair, because they've been away for like 2 weeks. I don't remember the last time any national team ahead of a competition went to the country where they're going to play 2 weeks ahead of the competition to get acclimatized to the weather, to start training, to settle in. Sometimes it's not the weather, it's just the look and feel of the place. So you just want to settle in, and I think that in quotes, every normal human being after 2 weeks should be settled in this new environment to some extent. So credit to the FA and how they've done it. But until they kick the first ball, and that's the problem with the youth teams, even for the opponents that the Ghanaian teams are going to meet, until they kick the first ball, you are not too sure how strong or how bad a team could be. And so for all Ghanaians are now, waiting patiently for 6 p.m. tonight to see how the team will fare. But Affair and the team must know that all of us here are backing them, because we need them to get back to that stage It used to be an easy place for us to get to, and we used to go there and excel and do well. Now we have not been there for a long time. So now this competition, all of us are going to be following, hoping that they could get there. There's been noise about the squad and the timing of the time they released and the discrepancies between what CAF has released and some players being in Ghana and all of that. Today's match day, and I think that they need to find a way of if you like, soundproofing the team, insulating the team, and that's the word I was looking for, from all this noise. The boys who are there are the boys who are going to play. So there's going to be a lot of talks from some of us here in Ghana, because it's a conversation for us to have. But then the team must find a way of getting the whole noise not to reach the camp of the players, so they can focus on the game. And I wish them all the best tonight.
What is the ceiling for this team? How far can they go?
To be very honest, very honest, it's for me it's very difficult to tell. But I think that first they should get out of the group, and the way they get out of the group will and again, when I go into tournaments, and now especially the youth tournaments, I don't know a lot about all the teams. Right? I've read, I know who their key players are, but until they start playing, I don't know too much about them. If it's a senior level, it's easy. I know how their players are playing everywhere. The youth teams, are not too sure. So what I've done is to follow the teams that are in the competition, and then you can measure Ghana's performances in the group stage against those teams that are playing. Then you can look at how far this team can go. So for me, the initial target should be getting out of the group stage, and then how they get out of the group stage in comparison to the teams and how the other teams have played will tell us how far the team can go, but minimum out of the group stage.
All right. Well, the Black Satellites have won this competition on 4 occasions, the last of which came in 2021. The first was in 93, 99, and then you've got in between 2009. We finished as runners-up in 2001 and 2013. The best performance as far as participating in tournaments hosted in North Africa was when we finished as runners-up in Algeria some 12 years ago, losing the final to Egypt on penalties. Daniel, what are the issues around this team? The last time, I think you spoke about Ofe's absence during the the 4 nation tournaments, and then also the absence of Tivano and a few of the other players.
Yeah, look, I think Cicho mentioned it. For me, I had issues with the timing of the squad, and from the FA's point of view, see, when they and this is to the FA, when they do that, it makes it very difficult for every squad will have criticism. Yeah. It's normal.
So just do with it and get it out of the way.
Do it early. Let people talk about it. When it settles, then we talk about the game. But releasing it a day before, it can create a certain negativity around the team when you don't even want it. At this point, whoever the head coach has chosen is whoever the head coach has chosen. Nobody can sack anybody from camp. Nobody can change his decision. So what is done is done. So I just think open communication is better. Release it early, let people say what they want to say, and then life goes on, and then we're able to focus on the competition. Desmond not being there for the 4 nation tournament, that happened about a month ago. I think it's done. He's been in Egypt with the team. He's been training with them, and there have been some last minute changes, players coming in, late arrivals, clubs reluctant to release certain players. So I think he's had a good enough feel of his team, and to be frank, he's been in charge and he's played with some of these guys for quite a while. So I think he knows his players, they understand him, and it's right now it's down to the business on the ground. I'm looking at the pictures, and I've not seen a couple of players in camp, but I'm sure because this competition is not in the FIFA calendar, clubs have the right to stop their players from coming. So then you have to have that relationship, and of course the players' willingness to also come. We know Jerry Fee spoke to his club to release him. When I hear reports that he's going to be released for only the first 2 games, but when you look through the squad, I think it has some good squad depth in it, especially from the midfield and the attack. We have some good squad depth in it. Jerry plays well with Musbao, but if in Jerry's absence, the Musbao can't play through the middle. I looked at the pictures. I didn't see Clinton Dudu in the team. I think he will arrive a bit later. But Kamaldeen's brother Hakim Sulemana plays really well on the wings. We've seen him with Desmond for quite a while. So if Clinton comes, that is more options up there. Dreams FC boy Barcelona guy, no. Aziz Issa has not had enough game time, but again, the familiarity with the team and the coach also helps. He's a sort of player who can slot in and do a job. So for me, to be frank, if you watch the CAF Under 17 AFCON, and if you watch the previous edition of the CAF Under 20 and then Under 17, the standard of youth football in Africa is rising, and it's rising very steady. So you can't necessarily look at a team on paper and say you easily wipe them off. So, and we saw it in the Africa games. Uganda came and they reached the final. They gave a lot of teams problems, and they were playing some really good football. So I think every game will be tough. It's not something that you can just say the Black Starlets should be qualifying, or the Satellites should be qualifying. I think every game will be tough, but a strong start is very important. You don't want to have to go into the last group game doing mathematics, because to be frank, these are young footballers. Their character hasn't really been tested at the highest level, so you don't know if they'll be able to take on that pressure. So it's very, very important for them to start well, get the 3 points, and 3 points in the opening game is basically guaranteed that you've qualified from the group. So if we can get that tonight, that would be a huge boost. But when I look at the head coach, I look at Desmond, and I look at his work with this team over the past couple of years, I really believe they can make the World Cup. I'm not even thinking about winning the competition. Ghana needs to go back to the World Cup, and it's very painful that COVID happened, because Karim Zito's team would have gone to the World Cup. But 2015 is a very long time. The last time we saw the Starlets play was Atizigi and his boys who 2015. The boy who went to score the hat-trick, no, for example, Levante striker who went to score the hat-trick. No. The Levante guy, he scored Barcelona hat-trick. He scored 4 goals last season. Emmanuel Boateng's, that group, Benjamin Tetedems. Yeah, they are the last group that went. And look at, like, that's 10 years ago. So we really need to.
Emmanuel Boateng can play Blasters in Blaster careers have end.
Charlie. Still, I will not go.
Like, there's nobody from that team that is still, apart from Ziggy Man. Even Ziggy Man now, stuff. We two.
No, but be serious.
But Boateng career no end. No end.
So it's Black Stars career.
I'm saying that the Black Stars career no end.
Did you also have end now? No. No, but I agree with what Danny said about the hard difficult. We saw Tanzania beat Egypt for yesterday.
Yeah.
And even Morocco's game against Kenya.
It was close.
It was very close. 3-2.
It was close.
Kenya took the lead. Morocco came back 2-1. It was 2-2 before Morocco won. So we've seen some. Even Nigeria's game wasn't easy. South Africa against it wasn't. So the games are quite competitive.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's good for African football. But
the basics, like everybody's playing a certain brand of football, and it's about perfection and efficiency. So you can't. This one is not we are Ghana, so we are going to no. They have to get the job.
So we can't say we are Ghana.
No, we are Ghana, but it will
give us one. We are Ghana for the last time.
We are Ghana. We win and we qualify. But you don't say that day. Ask Capital. I what the press conference. It was the game that we had drawn against Gabon.
Gabon.
You know, a lot of things happened in that after the game.
Yeah.
Because for the captain and the Ghanaians, there was a fair play that Gabon breached from their viewpoint. You know, they thought that Gabon would give the balls. Gabon went on, took the throw in, then they went to score quickly. So I understand. So when Capito was sitting there, he was picking and answering the question. I was watching my captain. I was like, yeah.
No, I believe you.
Then when they asked that about Ghana beats Comoros and qualify, I said, we are Ghana. We beat Comoros and we'll qualify. I said,
I believe
I was the world. I believe we win the AFCON that year until Capito got record in the Comoros game.
Charlie, sorry.
Well, the Satellites will take on. That game is at 9 p.m. local time. Yep. They take on DR Congo, who returned to the competition for the first time since.
No, when it's 9 p.m. local time, 9 p.m. Egypt.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
it's 6 years.
It's 6 years.
It's 9 there.
So they'll play the game at 11 p.m.
It's 6 years. It's 9 there or something, 8 there or something.
Yeah. Thanks for that. So this will be DR Congo's last appearance, or their first since 2013. Last time they were here, they drew their opening game with Gabon, and then lost to Mali by 2-1, and then lost to Nigeria by 3-1, and exiting in the group stage. So yeah, that's it for the team. And I will urge everyone. I think the CAF channel shows the games on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So you can follow that competition there. Now,
let's have a catch house early today. Then there's some juice, then cookies, then.
No quick.
Yeah.
If I was sitting on the other side, I would have said something. But this one,
No, serious.
the mic. Look, we'll talk briefly about the Hartscourt game, but let's detour. Muftau, last weekend, we saw the GOC elects its new leadership. Benino Mensah is out. He didn't contest after 2 terms. He's left the mantle, and it's Richard Apokavi who won that election over Michael Agri at the Accra International Conference Center. Just before we get into and in a moment I'll go through the new board for the GOC just to give people a sense of which individuals, right? So the new board has Kamal Sule from rowing and canoeing, Delphine Akwe, her from swimming, Richmond Rexford, Kwaku from squash, George Tete of volleyball, George Lamte of boxing, then there's George Usu-Ansa. So the first 5 that I mentioned are the representatives from the Olympic sports. Then you have another 5 who are non-Olympic members. So George Usu-Ansa is from the non-Olympic. Then the representatives of the affiliate bodies, Samuel Kete Aye is there. Then you've got Nathaniel Johnson, Karate Do, as well as Edwin Amankwa from arm wrestling, and Rafatu. Or is it Rafatu? Rafatu.
Yes.
Rafatu.
She's now the president of Ghana Rugby.
Right. From triathlon at the time of this. So we say congratulations to them. Unfortunately, our friend Prosper Arsenado could not make it onto the board. But for the General Secretary, Mohammed Munir Kasim, then he will be assisted by Bao Husseini. Then the other executives, Evans Yeboah is the treasurer. Assistant treasurer is Edward Patrick Nilante Bannerman. Then the first vice president. That's how I'm laughing.
He made it.
Charlie, this time, Okaniye.
You made it.
You made it. Then Mauko Fajino as the first vice president. The second is Frederick Latte Otu. And next down, so the third vice president. Congratulations to all of you. Muftau, what sort of leadership should we expect from Benino Mensah? Sorry, Richard Apokavi.
No, you are very right, because Ben has been the leader for 8 years, so it's very normal.
Being mindful of all of the issues that led to the elections, and even on the election day, and this perception that, however unfair it may be, but that is what people believe, that the verdict now means that Professor Dudu is back in control.
I don't know, for whatever reason, I find that quite funny though. Let's accord Richard Apokavi some respect and let people understand that he's his own man. Richard Apokavi, over the years, in as much as maybe we will actually believe that he had a very good working relationship with Professor Francis Jodu, I do not think he's coming in to work under the shadows of Professor Francis Jodu. This is a man who has his own vision of what he wants Ghana Olympic Committee to be. He has his own ideas of how he wants to manage the institution Ghana Olympic Committee. So I do not think that it is a reincarnation of Professor Francis Jodu as the leader of the Ghana Olympic Committee. And in fact, just a few days ago, I was with Richard Apokavi and we spoke extensively. And one of the things I got from him was about the fact that he believes the Ghana Olympic Committee is a very big institution that must work together as a unit if they want to achieve their goals. He doesn't understand why there are so many issues bedeviling the institution. He doesn't understand why every now and then someone is running to court because the person disagrees with certain things. And in fact, he told me that they will be going for a retreat pretty soon, so that they will put together a working document that will help everyone appreciate what the Ghana Olympic Committee is. So clearly, I believe that he's a man who actually wants to drive the Ghana Olympic Committee with his own vision. He served as Ghana Secretary before, and in fact he worked with Benino Mensah before contesting in the last elections, where he lost by about 7 or 8 votes. And this time around, people have given him the mandate to be able to steer the affairs for the next 4 years. So I believe that this is a man who has his own ideas, who has his own vision, who wants to bring everyone under one umbrella. This is a man who believes that athletes must have a voice at the board level of the Ghana Olympic Committee. He wants to diversify the institution Ghana Olympic Committee by including women. He believes that the gender balance on the board of the Ghana Olympic Committee is not good enough, and there should be more women representation at the Ghana Olympic Committee. And Professor Francis Dodu, I'm not sure the Olympics had a voice at the board, but this is a man who thinks that the athletes must have a voice at the board. So clearly, this is what I believe he wants to do. And also, the other aspect of it, where many people have spoken about, is about the image Ghana Olympic Committee, where over the years there have been tons of scandals. You cannot forget about the 2018 Commonwealth Games, where, in fact, when I mentioned it during my conversation with him, he said journalists were a part of it. So why are you making it appear as though it's a Ghana Olympic Committee problem?
And they were not journalists. They were people posing us.
There were people posing as journalists.
But your name was there. Somebody called this thing was over there.
My name was not there, please.
Your name was in the list. Somebody was in Australia saying
my
he's
name
called Muftar Nabila.
So they told the person that when you get there, say
your name is Muftar Nabila. They told the guy to write a sentence.
I don't get select, so my name was not there. So I want to mention it to him. So the journalist you prepare. I said, but you facilitated our travel, so you engineered it.
That's one good, look.
Some are still there.
Some married.
Yeah, some of them actually married. You know, our brother at the other end,
some
we go marry.
Some they put every month we are the post. So God has done it again. Every month we are the proof of Facebook.
Every man they survive.
I remember a few months or years ago, one of them came and commented under my post about something like that. I told them, my friend, when you were here, you couldn't even get close to us to do work. So don't go out there and think you've arrived. But he talks about wanting to cleanse the image of the Ghana Olympic Committee, which is going to be critical, with transparency, with accountability. These are the key things that are going to enhance the image of the Ghana Olympic Committee. And I think if he's able to bring everyone under one umbrella, if he's able to buy into the ideas of his predecessor, I'm sure his predecessor will still have a lot to share, provided he's willing to share those ideas with him. I'm sure he's going to build a Ghana Olympic Committee. In fact, I asked him a question, what success would mean for him? And he was telling me that success is not for him, success is for Ghana Olympic Committee. So, like, this is a man who wants to do things his own way.
All right. For me, he needs to find money. You see,
ultimately, he has to.
He needs to find the money. At the end of this month, we're having the international meet for Africa. We're having the African Championships. Then you have the World Relays. You have World Championships and other events coming up. Last month, Nigeria gave $20,000 for $80,000 for 4. So each person got $20,000 for weightlifters to prepare for the same games. How much is, and again, for the avoidance of doubt, it is the equivalent of the Olympic Commission or the Olympic Committee. How much does the GOC have? How much have they made available to the athletes who are participating in these competitions, along with Ghana Athletics, along with the sports ministry? So the money bit is important. I do hope that he is able to get that bit important, because
he mentioned that he's not looking for sponsors, he's looking for partners. He's looking for, let's say a two group of companies, you come, let's have a relationship. Maybe you can decide that I don't want to give you the money directly, I want to give the money to the athlete to prepare himself or herself for major competitions. We'll have a nice relationship, and whenever the athlete is ready to go for whenever the athlete is ready to go for training sessions or training programs and all that, you just take care of the cost. If you don't want the Ghana Olympic Committee to take the money, for people to think that they are chopping the money in the Ghanaian parlance, then let's have that relationship that goes directly to benefit the athletes. It's actually one thing that he spoke about, and he believes that yes, he will be able to build such relationships that can inure to the benefit of athletes in the country.
He should place a phone call to FEDEMS. I'm sure Sichu can spare a few hundreds of thousands of dollars for the GOC. But the show is probably brought to you by Bet.
No, Sicho, like Sicho won't talk something.
Oh, I don't want to get into it. If I want to talk, I will talk.
You don't want to spare a few thousands of dollars.
I don't want to talk.
I didn't say thousands. I said a few hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Apokavi and his people. You can.
You see the thing you do for sports. If you say thing you do for here, no.
Look, it's time to get rewarded as the next big sports betting influencer with Betway. Place your bets and share your codes with friends, fans, and followers. If they place bets using your code, you will earn 4% of their wager. It doesn't matter if it's a win or loss. If they bet, you earn money. And the more people that bet with your code, the more you earn. So start betting, sharing, and winning with Bet Influencer, exclusive to Betway. Terms and conditions apply. This is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway, get way more. Now, you do know that it's that time of the year again. On the 31st of May, we're all going to the Aviation Social Centre to watch the UEFA Champions League final. That's where the Hits FM Rep Your Jersey event is happening, the Aviation Social Centre. So the entire Joy Sports team is going to be there as we have our wash and fuel contest, Jama session, a sports quiz, five-a-side soccer, the Champions League anthem competition, and so many other exciting activities on the day. So join us on Hits 103.9 FM and on Joy 99.7 FM as we bring you live commentary of all the semi-final matches powered by Joy Sports, and also on the day of the final itself. This event is probably brought to you by SoccerBet, your best bet for sports betting. TCL, Inspire Greatness, Franco Trading Enterprise, Still, Phone Papa Power Fear, Day by Day Men, Strong and Refined, ITEL A90, truly durable and colorful. The Game Energy Drink, feel the energy, and DSTV, feel every moment. Petrosol, your trusted provider of clean fuel in full quantity, is announcing that we've been adjudged the winner of the Royal National Best Quality Company Award, the AGI Ghana Standards Authority National Quality Awards event. Now, this achievement wouldn't have been possible without your loyalty and the trust you customers have got in our products and the support you've shown us over the years. And that's why we thank you for believing in us. At Petrosol, we're committed to delivering top quality fuel and lubricants, and this award is therefore an external validation and testament of Team Petrosol's commitment to quality. We're showing you that we'll continue to work tirelessly to ensure that our products always meet the highest standards of quality. Please remember to drive to any Petrosol station for clean fuel in full quantity and also stand a chance of winning amazing prizes. Petrosol, energizing your dreams. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we still got the Super Clash to make sense of and how Arsenal lost at home to Paris Saint-Germain, and then, of course, Barcelona still draw with Inter Milan.
Kwame is cooking up the perfect multi-bet, ready to serve to all his friends and followers. He's using Betway's Bet Influencer, a new sports betting feature where he can make money just by sharing his codes. The more codes he shares, the more money he makes. Anyone can be a bet influencer. Another world first from Betway. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway. Get way more.
Across Ghana, unsung heroes and heroines are defying the odds to change lives. The search for the next Joy News Impact Maker 2025 is over. Joy News, in partnership with McDan Foundation, empowering futures, building communities, announces the 10 finalists for this year's Impact Makers. From Kiseman in the Greater Accra region, Raymond Senyo Amezadu is shaping the future by engaging children in after-school programs, ensuring they have access to quality education. At the Kolebu Teaching Hospital in Accra, Ekuya Sapon is a beacon of hope for children battling cancer, raising awareness and providing resources to improve their quality of life. Through the lens of photography, Geoffrey Kwame Buta empowers students with hearing disabilities in Tamale, giving them a voice and a platform to share their stories. Eric Bwedi Sampon from the Eastern region is recognized for improving educational infrastructure, accommodation for teachers, and providing access to potable water for the Atani Ata community. And in Wa, William Ayaba Akongbagbere has redefined education with a hybrid school system, creating an inclusive environment for children with special needs and diverse backgrounds. In the fight for mental health awareness, Osei Boateng is making waves in the Ashanti region with their Wuhunyame Wellness Program, providing crucial support and breaking the stigma around mental health. Portia Dumba from Jindabo in the Savannah region is hailed for empowering women to venture into shea butter production and high-quality cosmetics, fostering financial independence and sustainability. From Susiano in the Ahafa region, Bennett Asante Nkrumah believes that education should not be a privilege but a right, offering free schooling to needy students. Similarly, Daniel Nkrumah is bringing clean water to communities across Ghana with borehole outreach programs that are transforming lives. In Amasaman, Joseph Tete Afangbe is on a mission to promote hygiene awareness in schools and communities, ensuring healthier futures for the next generation. These Joy News impact makers are the 2025 change makers, the problem solvers, the everyday heroes and heroines, reshaping Ghana. The spotlight is on. This year's awards is brought to you by the Center for Strategic Philanthropy and Social Investment of the Pentecost University, unleashing transformational philanthropy, research, and innovation for community impact. Philanthropy Ghana, promoting and elevating philanthropy in Ghana. Gold Key Properties, transforming the landscape. MNC Group Global, totally reliant. German Ozone Medical Center, alternative therapy, dental wellness and beauty. And latest film, your partner for life. Ghana CEO Summit, inspiring business leadership and economic transformation. Joy News Impact Makers Awards, celebrating ordinary people making extraordinary impact.
Kwame is cooking up the perfect multi-bet, ready to serve to all his friends and followers. He's using Betway's Bet Influencer, a new sports betting feature where he can make money just by sharing his codes. The more codes he shares, the more money he makes. Anyone can be a bet influencer. Another world first from Betway. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway. Get way more.
Joy 99.7 FM.
All right, welcome back from that spot of commercial. This still is Game Plan on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Victor Achutamaklo. I'm still here with Sicho, Daniel, and Muftao. We've spoken at length about the Black Satellite and their chances ahead of tonight's opening Group C encounter, the CAF Under-20 African Championships. Now, we're going to speak briefly about the super clash between Accra Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Understandably, the optimism around the game or the vibe around the game is relatively low, but it will still go ahead. Who wins this one?
I think Kotoko will, because of the new manager they brought, Karim Zito.
Yeah.
The last couple of games that Kotoko have got, they have to play all of them like a final. And if you need a manager who can prepare a team for one-off games, and I think he's going to treat this Hearts game as a one-off game, then it's Karim Zito. And that is why he's successful in FA Cup games. When he's taking the national youth teams to tournaments, he's been successful. So in a long run, I don't think maybe he's the man for Kotoko, but for the time and the number of games left, I think that he can prepare the team for that. And that's why I think he will beat Hartlepool. And there's more at stake for them than maybe Hartlepool. The motivation for Hartlepool would be to throw that spanner into the works of Kotoko. That if they are not going to win the league, then Kotoko, you are not win the league alongside us. And Hartlepool also thinking that if they win this one, they have an outside chance, depending upon all the other results that will happen around them, to straight away be again in the conversation for the title push. If they win the rest of their games, and other games go in their favor. So there is more hanging on this one for Kotoko in terms of achievements in the season than Hartlepool. But what is hanging on more for Hartlepool would be, for me, the pride of beating Kotoko and throwing that spanner in their work. So I fancy Kotoko coming into it.
Right. Daniel, Karim Zito swapped jobs. He's going back to the club that he left in 2005. That was the last time he was on the bench for a Hearts Kotoko game, then as an assistant. He's been speaking a lot about being in the title race. Is he being realistic? He says it's possible. He doesn't just talk about the league title. He says FA Cup as well. Both.
Was a points gap between Kotoko and the leaders?
3.
And you don't think it's possible? Like,
perhaps it's because of their recent form.
No, they've just won one match under him.
He's played just one.
He's played just one.
I'm saying before him.
No, before it was still 6 points. Yeah. For me, look, it's a month ago, BBN Gold Stars looked out of it. Yeah. Then Kotoko started messing up. Nations FC dropped points. BBN were top. Last week, BBN were in the league by 5 points. Then they lost against Vision. Then now it is just 2 points at the top. Like the Ghana Premier League is very unpredictable. If you are Kotoko, and if it's just 3 points with how many 4 or 5 games to go, you know that you are in a title race. Obviously, I don't think it was so much to do with on-field action that got Prosper Ogum sacked. But whoever walks through the door with just 6 points between themselves and the leaders with 5 games to go, obviously has a push. And after his first game beating Indiana, credit to him. It's now 3 points, 4 games to go. Obviously, Kotoko are in a title race, and this is it's 2 things. I think if Kotoko wins this, Hearts are out. That's it for the title race for them. Hearts of Oku, no, I don't think they'll be able to recover and win the league. And Bibini play at home this week, but the away form has been very iffy. Next week they play away from home. So if Kotoko can get this win under their belts, they can be looking next week. In fact, Nations and Bibini will play away from
Karela.
Yes, at home. They will ship them. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying next week when they go away from home, themselves and Nations are going away from home next week.
But fortunately for them, their next week fixture is that one against Insuatreman, which is 3 points.
Which is 3 points. Yeah.
Because so they are not playing. So Kotoko must win. Kotoko are playing. I'll have to look at that. But Kotoko are playing a fixture they need to win.
Kotoko is playing has this weekend.
No, next weekend. Because the BNE's fixture will be against Insuatreman, which is 3
so
points.
That's 6 points. In fact, no, okay. Hopefully they clear Karela, but it looks like a 6 points.
So they are playing Dreams. Kotoko play Dreams.
They play Dreams. Zito plays against. Yes. I was looking for that storyline.
Yeah, and then he's away to Gold Stars.
Exactly. Yep. So that's I'm saying that they need to match before that game, and that game could be the decider for who goes top, or it could also be a good one for Nations FC if they can also win their next 2 games. So obviously Kotoko are in there. The last time these 2 teams faced is where you people said that the thing was Oseasibi's fault, but it wasn't his fault, it was Asari's fault. But you people didn't want to put the thing on Asari, so you conveniently put the thing.
How about the match before?
We are talking about the most recent one this season.
You don't blame Black Stars.
So you are Asibi's fault.
Even Asibi will tell you that blame
you. Blame me. But you did the one before.
It will be in fault. That one will be in fault.
That one was Richmond Aye.
No, I'm saying that.
The most recent was no Asibi.
No, simple. Okay. It was Asari's fault. Why did he come out? Why did he come out of his pool? We know him by his
Black Star experience.
Ouattara, Muftahu, you and Felix Roman, these 2 boys, they are the people who brought Ouattara to Hasselhoff. So they Hasselhoff fans. Hearts, they've won just 2 of the last 10 league games. They've lost the last 3 consecutive Super Clash to Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Is this going to be any different for Hearts?
I don't think it's going to be any different. Over the years, and in fact, coincidentally, 9 years ago today, there was a Super Clash at the Accra Sports Stadium. The late Sulaiman's howler. when Kotoko came and won that game by 1-0. I do not think anything would change. I actually believe that Kotoko will be better placed even than Accra House of Folk. The new manager bounce for them. That victory over Indiana Stars is also a positive thing. Many people would always tell you that when it comes to Kotoko versus Hearts of Oak matches, form does not count. But trust me, form is quite critical. The confidence of your players would influence their decision making on the pitch. If your players, as you've mentioned, in the last 10 matches have struggled to find their feet, they will be too cautious when they are behind the ball. So clearly, from where I said, Kotoko is much better placed than Accra House of Oak. However, I believe that House of Folk is not going to be that opponent that would just allow Kotoko to come and have their way, as we've witnessed them do many times at the Accra Sports Stadium. And in fact, many people will always tell you that Kotoko always have the Accra Sports Stadium as an advantage. I remember just a few seasons ago, you remember the Justice Blay go against Accra House of Folk here. And all this history would count for something. But House of Folk would also want to turn their season around, knowing very well that if they are able to get 3 points in this game, it's a very positive outcome that will still put them in a contention, knowing that there will be about 12 more points to fight for till the end of the season. Mm-hmm. So every single team, I believe that still stands a chance. Kotoko is just 3 points behind Bibiano Gold Stars. They'll play Bibiano Gold Stars on May 23, which is still a long way. But a win too in this game positions them in a place that makes them maybe ultimately a team that will be winning the Premier League title. But I do not think that much would change in this game on Sunday.
I don't know what it would mean for the title race, but I'm pretty clear in my mind that Kotoko are winning this one for a number of reasons. Hearts are really, really bad. Like, if you watch them play, very uncoordinated. There is no sense of identity, no strong personalities in the team. They don't even have match winners that you can count on for games like this. And the fact that these days they seem to panic whenever they play against Kotoko. It's in their heads, and that fear is not from the fact that Kotoko are so good, but more from the fact that they within themselves know they are not good enough. And that is why in the last 4 matches, every Hearts Kotoko game has been characterized by a high-profile error of some sort, and it's always from Hearts, and it's always an error leading directly to a goal. It's just symptomatic of a team that plays with fear, and it is not juju.
It is a Hearts name that is talking.
It is not. No. Yes, I'm a Hearts fan, but I'm telling you that Kotoko will beat Hearts of Oak. I'm telling you that Hearts of Oak are not good enough. That has nothing to do with being partisan. And you see, even in terms of a context like this, Kotoko have more match winners than, in fact, only 2 of them, Kwame Opoku and Albertamwa, have more goals than the entire Accra Hearts of Oak front line combined. That is not something you can take for granted, right? And in the context of the season, Kotoko have looked the more coordinated. Yes, they are inconsistent, but when they click, there's a method to their madness. You can clearly tell what they want to do on the pitch, and I think this is one of those games where the sense of occasion, the new manager bounce itself, the fact that Kotoko have got more match winners, and the fact that Hearts of Oak no longer enjoy playing in this fixture and actually seem to be off. I don't remember the last time I saw Hearts of Oak players making repeated errors like that in games against Kotoko, and I think on Sunday I won't be surprised if we see another high-profile error from one of the Hearts of Oak players. So yeah, but that's that. Well, we're going to talk about the UEFA Champions League for the next 50 minutes because there is a lot to unpack, from Thomas Partey's absence, trying to understand to what extent he affected Arsenal's performance in that game. Then there is the Barcelona Inter Milan game also. But remember that it's time to get rewarded as the next big sports betting influencer with Betway. That's why you need to place your bets and share your codes with friends, fans and followers, because if they place bet using your code, you will earn 4% of their wager. And it doesn't matter if it's a win or a loss. If they bet, you earn cash. And the more people that bet with your code, the more you will earn from Betway. And that's why you need to start betting, sharing and winning with Bet Influencer, exclusive to Betway. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bets the responsible way. Betway, get way more. Now, the Joy News channel, in fact, Joy News, not just the channel, in partnership with the McDonald Foundation, is presenting the finalists for the 2025 Impact Makers Awards. So from after-school programs to mental health advocacy, clean water projects, inclusive education, women empowerment, and more. These are the true agents of change making extraordinary impact in hard-to-reach communities across Ghana. Catch their inspiring stories on Joy News as we honor their efforts in reshaping lives one step at a time. The Joy News Impact Makers Awards is brought to you by Gold Key Properties, transforming the landscape, MNC Group Global, Totally Reliance, German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness and Beauty, and Latex Foam, your partner for life. The Center for Strategic Philanthropy and Social Investments of the Pentecost University, unleashing transformational philanthropy, research and innovation for community impact. Philanthropy Ghana, promoting and elevating philanthropy in Ghana, and the Ghana CEO Summit and Expo, inspiring business leadership and economic transformation. The Journey's Impact Makers Awards, celebrating ordinary people making extraordinary impacts. Sicho, how much of the Thomas Partey did not play, and that's why Arsenal lost to PSG, is consistent with the reality, at least from your POV?
Look, I think Arsenal missed Thomas Partey because just like Arsenal would miss Declan Rice if he's not playing, or Bukayo Saka when he's not playing, because for Arsenal squad, they've got some very key players who are irreplaceable because they don't have any option on the bench that can replicate what they do. Especially now for Arsenal, where Jorginho is injured and maybe not in the form that he used to be a couple of years ago. So when there's no Thomas Partey, what he brings to the midfield is missing. So they will surely miss him. And in the game against PSG, Arsenal at home, we know Arsenal can keep the ball well if they want to, and we saw them do that. And the reason why there is so much volume around Thomas Partey's absence is also because it's on the back of that Real Madrid game, and we saw how well Arsenal could keep the ball circulated, dictate the play, especially with Thomas playing a key part in that. More so in the game at the Emirates, where he was immense. In the game at the Bernabeu again, he was immense. So it's very easy to look at the PSG game and look at the fact that Arsenal didn't necessarily keep control of their game, their rhythm, their tempo, like they did in the game against Real Madrid, or in many games that we've seen them do. And again, that's because then it's easy to say that because Thomas Partey wasn't there. So it's a fair comment. It's a fair assessment to make that because Thomas Partey wasn't there, Arsenal couldn't necessarily play the way we've seen them play. So when you look at the game itself, PSG saw a lot of the ball. But the truth of the matter is, PSG is a team that keeps the ball so well anyway, irrespective of the opponent. So there is no guarantee Arsenal would have seen a lot of the ball with Partey. But what is guaranteed is that they would have taken better care of the ball if he was in the squad. Because whenever a player is in trouble, you can easily find him. He's cool. And he picks the passes that takes the team into a better space. And that's a difficult thing to do. So it's not only playing the next available pass, but it's playing the pass that takes Arsenal from one pressure into a space that they can operate from. So I thought, yes, they missed them. But that was also credit to PSG. I'm not going to say if Partey played, PSG wouldn't have won the game. But just by the look of the goal that they scored, maybe if Partey played, that goal doesn't hit the back of the net. It's radio, maybe it's on Facebook, but I'll try and explain the goal, put it into pictures. Yeah. And all of us let's judge and see if where Partey would have been. Could he have held it? Because when you play against PSG, what they are able to do very well is to occupy your midfielders and draw them into spaces where it opens or frees up massive space for some important players. So in the build-up that led to the goal, for example, PSG were building up with the back three. Often you see Nuno Mendes galloping and overlapping or underlapping at, but being adventurous and going into the attacking end. Yeah. But in the game against Arsenal, he was a bit more careful. I'm wondering if that's because of Saka. But he stayed back alongside Pacho and Marquinhos. So that was the back three. Hakimi then had the freedom to venture. But Hakimi going high meant Martinelli couldn't press Marquinhos. And the midfield of PSG had occupied, or Merino and Declan Rice had occupied Fabian Ruiz and then Joao Neves. Odegaard was on Vitinha. But Vitinha was intelligent because he knew Odegaard was on him. So he drew him close to his back three. So drawing him close to his back three now left a big space between where Odegaard is and where Merino and Declan Rice would be. So there's a space in the center circle. But because the two other midfielders were pinned, right, to the PSG midfield, two other Arsenal midfielders were pinned to the PSG midfielders, he allowed Dembele to be able to move from his false 9. We have to defend a new rule for
Free rule false 9.
Free rule false 9. I'm back, coach.
Fantastic.
I love it.
Yeah,
like it fits. May not be the job.
Free rule
false 9.
That's what he does.
Yes. So you allow Dembele to do a lot more of the free rule false. I love the
Quick. Tactical.
So tactical.
Wait. Who did this pairing?
God.
Charlie! No! Free rule false 9. So I allowed Dembele to properly, move from the centre backs and come all the way to the centre circle. But he was able to do so because the two other midfielders in Rice and Merino are occupied. Vitinha has occupied Odegaard as well. But no centre back really loves to come out that far out. So Saliba and Kiwior are not coming. They're like, okay, let him go. But that is the problem. When the ball from Marquinhos got to Nuno Mendes, the player that in PSG shed that had the biggest space was Kvaratskhelia, who was hugging the line on PSG's left-hand side of attack. But something important happened. It was Fabian Ruiz who had Merino on him, who made a run as if he was expecting a long ball from Nuno Mendes. But what he did, let me state in Portuguese, Nuno Mendes.
Fantastic. Nuno Mendes.
So he thought Nuno Mendes would play the long ball to. It looked like he was going to play long ball to him, but he had spotted Dembele, the free rule false 9, dropping into the centre circle, and that's how far back he came without any pressure. So he pinged the pass to him, and then Dembele could get the ball on the half turn. He turned and he faced Arsenal. Mind you, at that point, Arsenal had to reorganize. So Declan Rice left his man, João Neves, to now come and confront Dembele. Dembele finds a space to the left and sends the ball to Kvaratskhelia. At that time, Fabian Ruiz is occupying Merino, so he's running Merino into the box, and Merino wouldn't leave his man. He's taking him, so he took him into the box. As the ball comes out to the PSG winger Kvaratskhelia, now Timber then has to engage. But this is where the party conversation comes in, because remember I said Declan Rice had left his man João Neves to go and confront Dembele. When Dembele passed the ball to Kvaratskhelia, Dembele was making a move into the box, and Declan Rice for a moment was with him. But as soon as the ball got to the winger and he was facing Kiwior, no, he was facing Timber. Declan Rice made a crucial decision. He decided to leave Dembele on the edge of the box in the D and double up on Kvaratskhelia and help Timber. Because 1v1, the Georgian is trouble. He can get past his man. So once he beats his man, Declan Rice would be there to cover, or to be there to apply some pressure. As soon as he moves and gets into a position where he's providing a very good cover for Timber, Dembele, whom Rice had left, is free on the D. But Dembele does something very crucial. Before the pass comes to him, he looks over his shoulder, looks at the goal, sees the goalkeeper's position, studies where he is. He all of a sudden he's aware of everything around him. He looks over his shoulder, sees what is around him. The ball comes, one touch and in. Now I'm wondering, what would a more experienced or a player who the DM role comes natural to do in that situation? Is he going to go so close to Timber, or he's going to, even though he's covering him, he's going to shadow the passing angle to Dembele? I think that Thomas Partey is not rushing to go and standing behind Timber. Rather, he's shadowing the passing lane
and protects the space.
So he's protecting the space. So if
offering an option,
and it's offering an option. So if Kvaratskhelia beats Timber, Partey is close enough to disrupt him. But if Kvaratskhelia wants to pass the ball to Dembele, there is Partey, so he can't pass the ball through him. But Rice rushed a bit to close in that space and left a gap for the man. So I'm thinking, if there was the Ghanaian Partey, what would he have done in that scenario? So when people say that had Partey played, the game could have been different, it well could have, because without that early goal, the atmosphere remains pumped like the game at the start of the game. And if Arsenal are not conceding early, who then knows what would have followed? So it's give and take, and that is why Partey is crucial to them.
The question, though, before you continue, was, and I've seen a few people ask that question: when Dembele drops deep and finally releases the ball as he's approaching the edge of the area, surely one of the centre backs who is free at that time sees the danger and tries to do something, especially at the time Kvaratskhelia is about to receive the ball, because He's about the one of two players who is attacking the box head on.
Yeah.
Right, the penalty area, and you can see the threat. You can see what's in front of you, what's behind from the Hakimi side, but what is likely to be at the receiving end of that are those who are attacking the box head on.
Yeah.
Is it outrageous to expect that one of the centre backs would have reacted to that?
I think so, considering where Dembele took the ball from. He was on the D, and when the ball is wide, no centre back would want to leave the defensive line and come. So what the centre backs are expecting is their DM or their midfielders or the attackers. Anybody who is rushing back to help defend is going to mop up,
pick them out.
It's going to pick them out and mop up that edge of the box for them, or track the runner, the late runner. Because as a centre back or as a defender, you don't want to step out of the block.
Stay in the zone.
You want to stay. You want to keep that defensive shape and line. So I think for the centre backs, they'll be straight away looking at their midfielders like, who is picking him up? He's on the edge of the box. It's your job, guys. It's your job. So that is the difficulty. That's why I'm saying that it's a fair comment when people ask that if Partey, the DM in the team, was available, would Dembele have had the space he had, and could Kvaratskhelia play the pass to him in the way he did? Right. It's a fair question to ask, and we'll never know how Partey would have reacted. I'm only suggesting that, knowing Partey, he wouldn't have
him do it very often.
Yes, he wouldn't. In the game against Madrid, he was doing it. Yeah. Like, he was mopping on the edge of the box, mopping on the edge, and it was repetitive. Because Madrid wouldn't have Mbappe running into the box. He would stay on the edge, and anytime they cut the ball back, it was Thomas Partey, it was Declan Rice who were mopping up. So maybe he would have done that. But finally on the game, and to allow the guys to come in, I think there's a Arsenal's captain Odegaard, a key player in the team who is not in form at the wrong time of the season. And since his return from his injury, after about 2 games where he looked like, oh, he's back, he was dunking balls, he was doing that Gajo thing, when he takes the ball, it's like he's hopping on the ball thing. No? Sometimes it'd be nice more. He did it for some 2 games, and he's since not really been the same, not confident, not playing well. Why did he laugh? He's not playing too well.
Are you happy?
I make happy.
Make happy see the guy in the shower.
Oh no, I don't like the Partey teammate. Oh, the Ghanaian international Partey.
That Odegaard, what is it?
No, I just think it's a matter of, I don't want to say confident, but he's not sharp. He's not looking sharp. And again, I think he's confident because there are moments where there's a space for him to play the pass, but you pick the safer one.
Yeah.
But he's always been like that too.
Not necessarily.
Except in the past, he will swivel.
No, he will, but he would trail the ball. You see that Lewis Kelly pass that he gave to Martinelli? Yeah. That's Odegaard months ago or last season. Like, playing the ball through. And I don't think Odegaard is playing when that affected Arsenal a little bit. On the other hand, PSG going to play at home with that 1-0 lead. It's a very good news for them, right? Because for PSG, we know that when it comes to keeping the ball and teasing opponents into positions where they will make them comfortable, they are great at it. That is why, even though Partey's return is important for Arsenal, I still think PSG will go through, because Declan Rice now is going to be a more adventurous. Partey will sit for them. He will pass the ball around and everything. Odegaard is not in form in attack unless Arsenal are scoring from set pieces. Unless they are scoring from set pieces, I don't see how they carve PSG open a lot of times. Even though the openings will be there, the problem would be the players who will be confident enough to pick them out. This is not Real Madrid. You won't play those 2 free kicks again. Then you won't play again. Forget that Mourinho offside header. It won't happen again. But what we know can happen for sure is that if Dembele is fit, Dembele will do the free roll first 9, and that thing he has disturbed every team they've played since the start of the year in French League. The second leg against Liverpool, that 1-0 and they took to, it was the same thing.
Yeah, the same thing.
Like, he dropped, they picked the ball, Bakula cross, Konate couldn't clear, and Dembele went to score. I think PSG will go through. Because of time, I'll just say it that way. I think PSG will go through because Arsenal at some point will have to risk. And when you risk too much against PSG, they will lick their lips.
And the possibility of getting one. But, Daniel. Karim is down sitting there throwing shots at each. Daniel, were you impressed with the way Arteta and Arsenal handled the game, especially that first half?
No, not really. Not really, because Partey, in the absence of Partey and Jorginho, Arsenal stylistically are seriously affected.
Yeah.
and they can't play that possession-centered football at the optimal level. And again, he was facing PSG, a team that probably with Partey and Rice in midfield will still outpossess them on the
field. Plays the free rule false nine.
So it was. I think Arteta made a mistake by first of all asking Declan Rice. If you look at how Arsenal were trying to build up in the PSG game, was very similar to what they do when Partey is playing. And Rice is not Partey; they are two very different players. I think it was very unfair on Rice, the job that Arteta asked him to do, and you could tell Arsenal were struggling. So obviously after the opening goal, they panicked. They were trying to respond immediately, and that was basically playing into PSG's hands. They suck the life out of them, possess the ball, pass it from side to side, and Arsenal didn't have that calm, composed controller in the middle of the park who could manage the movements well. And obviously, in the absence of Partey also, I've mentioned the role that Rice was playing.
Yeah.
And Rice vacating that left side of midfield, coming a bit deeper, affected Arsenal because that is the zone, that is PSG's weak spot, Hakimi's side, where he usually likes to bump forward. Because of Saka, they reshape, but usually they have both fullbacks bumping forward. In the second leg, the reason why I believe Arsenal still have a very good chance in this tie is, yes, Sicho has made a very good point about the lead that PSG have, which could affect their style. So PSG could come into that game or go into that game with the sole aim of just possessing the ball and keeping it simple. They don't need to win the tie, the game to qualify. But Arsenal can, because of the physicality, and we've seen this, the weakness that this PSG team have is in terms of physicality and set pieces. And that's how Arsenal beat them at the Emirates in the group stages. That's how Aston Villa beat them in the second leg. When they went a bit more direct, they were hitting the long balls. They were using the physical. All of a sudden, McGinn, Tielemans, and Kamara were a bit more intense in the middle of the park. Get that physicality and encourage the duels, because the possibility of you winning is very high. The João Neves and Vitinha and the Fabian Ruiz don't really like the physical battle. So for me, if Rice is further forward and Merino is also playing his free role false nine in a way, because he drops into midfield to add as an extra midfielder, and it becomes almost like a pentagon if you when Merino drops with Partey on the right hand side of the holding midfield. Then Luis Kelly comes in. Then there's Declan Rice and Odegaard and Merino. So it's like a very interesting pentagon, and that's how if you look at the Merino goal against Real Madrid, he dropped in. Sacked the Madrid centre backs a bit closer to him, and then moved in at the right time. He's also very intelligent with his late runs. Arrived at the right time for the ball to come in, and then he scored. I think that Arsenal can exploit that left hand side because of the energy that Declan Rice brings to that side. We saw Arsenal create the very good opportunity. In fact, the best opportunities they created in the game came from the left hand side, Hakimi's side. First half, the Martinelli chance, and then the second half the Trossard chance. Both of them very good saves by Donnarumma. So I think that is still an area of the pitch that Arsenal can target, and the advantage is that with Partey they can be a bit more patient and calmer in waiting for the right moment to attack that channel. So that's why I think Arsenal have an advantage. And the set pieces, look, you can't overlook that. The corner kicks will come. The free kicks will come, and Arsenal play for it. So they will encourage Saka to take players on, draw fouls, as we've seen. It may not be direct, but once that ball is going into the box, there's always trouble for PSG. So for me, this tie is far from over. I think Arsenal can go to France and win. I don't even think this game would. Whoever is going to win it, the game will be done in 90 minutes. I don't think it will travel to extra time. If Arsenal are going to go through, I think they will win in 90 minutes with a margin of 2, and it will be enough for them to qualify.
Do you think they can keep out PSG from scoring for 90 minutes?
No, PSG will score, but Arsenal will score.
Now, let's think through a few scenarios here. Sishu, for PSG, if Dembele is not fit enough to start or to play at all, do you trust one of the wide men to execute what he would have done, say Bakola, or you revert to Gonzalo Ramos?
No, I think if Dembele is not playing, and he's tried this before, Luis Enrique, he's tried the Georgian Kvaratskhelia in that free role false nine before, and he's also tried Desiree Doué in that role before. Are they going to be as effective as Dembele? I'm not sure, but one thing is for sure, that the way PSG plays creates so much space for the person doing that job that you're not often under pressure when you've got the ball. Because those who are supposed to apply the pressure on you are thinking about something else before you get the ball. So if you give that amount of space to Desiree Doué, he can cause you a problem. If you give that to Kvaratskhelia as well, it can cause you a problem. Bakola as well, it can cause you a problem. But however you look at it, when you look at the numbers that Dembele has got since the turn of the year, he's going to be a massive mess. Like, there's a reason why he's in the conversation to win the Ballon d'Or. He's that good. Like, he's their best player or best attacking player in the team, if you ask me. Or generally, they are one of their best players. So yeah, they're going to miss him. But the option, I don't think you go with the center forward in Gonzalo Ramos. I think you go with one of those front three players who have shown that they can be very fluid. We've seen the Georgian Kvaratskhelia play on the right, on the left, down the middle. Desiree Doué the same. I don't really trust Bakola down the middle unless you are playing FC25. But in real life, one of Danny's favorite players, Bakola. In real life, I think he will be wide and one of the other two will be in the middle. If Dembele is not fit, but I think Dembele will be fit enough for that.
Are you a doctor?
They are wrapping the guy in the woo.
Okay.
Hey, the woo is the most comfortable woo I've ever seen.
The time that
the guy hasn't worked since a year in the career.
Okay. I remember the time they were carrying Rooney against Bayern Munich. Do you know Van Boyten?
Mark Van Boyten. You go hit the ankle.
Don't worry, we are waiting for him.
But Daniel, how do you cope with that attack? I mean, all other things being equal, assuming Dembele gets to start and he plays, how do Arsenal maintain the balance of doing what they've done so well defensively this season, but also finding enough attacking threats without leaving themselves susceptible to the counter breaks?
It's about the approach, and I think Arteta is smart enough to know that he doesn't need to start the game hurriedly trying to get the first goal. As Sichu has said, PSG know they also have the advantage, and they know that their weakness is in leaving spaces in the left and the right channel where Arsenal can punish them. In fact, the entire game, they recognized the threat of Saka and limited the movement and the attacking freedom that Nuno Mensch had in that first leg. So PSG, I don't think they'll be as expansive in the second leg, and I think that's where Arsenal can capitalize on. That's what they can capitalize on. I think it's going to be a very boring 50-60 minutes to watch. Very tactical, very cagey, passing the ball around. Nobody really wanting to take risks. But Arsenal will be depending on their individual ability in terms of take-ons from Saka and Martinelli to draw the fouls, and maybe they can nick a set piece goal in the first 60 minutes. If it's not working, then we are going to see them a bit more aggressive and trying to force the issue. So I really don't think this is the game where PSG is going to come out at their flamboyant best and play the sort of football that we've seen. I think they are going to manage it a bit more, be a bit smarter in how PSG only have to react if Arsenal score. So, and the school of Pep Guardiola and your Cruyff and things will tell you the best way to defend is when you have the ball. If you have the ball, the opposition doesn't have it, unless you have a Onana who is going to make him or something. But if you have the ball, you are not going to concede goals. So I don't think this is a game where you talk about PSG's attacking prowess. I don't think they are going to be as that expansive, but there's still hope. I think Arsenal can do their job.
All right, that's the word on Arsenal versus PSG from the first leg. We will get into the Barcelona game in a moment, but our mothers carried us, cared for us, and made 100 silent sacrifices. They were our first teachers, first friends, and forever heroes. Just imagine your life without the love, strength, and sacrifices of your mother. Thank you, Mama. You are truly loved and appreciated. So as we celebrate Mother's Day, your superstation Joy 99.7 FM is asking you to say thank you to your mother in a way only a queen deserves. Bring your mothers to Joy FM's magical Safari Day out on Saturday, May 10 at the breathtaking Safari Valley Eco Resort for an all-day experience, 8 to 6 p.m. It's not just a getaway, it's a full day of love, laughter, and unforgettable joy watching Mama smile from the heart. We'll kick things off with a guided wildlife tour where you'll meet zebras, wallabies, Patagonian maras, exotic birds, and more. Then explore the world of fun, horseback riding, Segway, and bicycle rides, bowling, archery, or worry, Jenga, darts, and more. Now, the kids are not left out. We've got a full amusement park to keep them happy all day long. So, of course, there's going to be a feast, a sumptuous buffet lunch with freshly squeezed juices, followed by tributes to our mothers, photo moments, giveaways, and other Mother's Day cake cutting. And just when you think your heart is full, Kwampa will lift us even higher in music and celebration. So for adults, it's just 950 cedis. For teenagers, 650 cedis, and then 550 cedis for children. Make the payments via the Momo number 0593 038 842. 0593 038 842 and reference Mama. The Momo name is Daniel Boyfew. If you need a ride, you're covered. There will be buses to convey those who may need it at no extra cost. And to learn more about this, just call us on 0302 216 540. 0302 216 540. DK, this one, you have to bring the old woman. It's just 950 Ghana cedis for adults. You have to bring the old woman. Sicho,
quick.
Yeah, you have to make sure the old woman and then the other old woman, your mother-in-law, both of them represent.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's called old girl. It's not old woman.
Old girl.
Because she's young. She's still young.
She's young,
very
she's young for the husband.
Yeah. So let's make memories. Let's honor Mama. Let's do this the Joy FM way. Safari Day out with Mama because she deserves the world and just a little bit more from you. I'm going to say it again. On the 31st of May, there is only one place for you to be, and that's the Aviation Social Center, because we're having the Hits FM Rep Your Jersey events there. Every year, we watch the Champions League final at the Aviation Social Center. We'll have our Jama Wash and Field contest, the sports quiz, five-a-side soccer, the Champions League anthem competition, and so many other exciting activities. And that's why you need to come there with the family on that night just to enjoy the ambience that we'll be creating over there together with you. It's the Hits FM Rep Your Jersey on Saturday, May 31st, 2025. So do well to join us on that day. This event is proudly brought to you by Soccer Bet, your best bet for sports betting, TCL, Inspire Greatness, Franco Trading Enterprise, Still, Phone Papa Fie, Day by Day Men, Strong and Refined, ITEL A90, truly durable and colorful. The Game Energy Drink, feel the energy. DSTV, feel every moment. It's some 23 minutes away from 3 p.m. at which time we'll call it's a day. But okay, right. Now let's do the Champions League and then we'll see if we'll make time for that other thing that I've got in mind. Sicho, in your day, in all of the days that you've been watching football, have you seen a 17-year-old as good as Lamine Yamal at the time they were his age?
Yeah, but that 17-year-old wasn't doing it for Barcelona.
Okay.
The stage was different. I still think Mbappe at 17 was more explosive.
Fantastic.
And more devastating, right? Scoring goals for fun in big games. But to do it at 17 years with a club like FC Barcelona is a different thing altogether, right? You at 17 years at Barcelona, you're supposed to be a bit part player.
Yeah.
Like you're promising talent. You come good in the next 2 years. You're the next Messi. But the boy is doing it now. Like at 17, he is a go-to player for the team. Like he's a player that when the team is in trouble, everybody's trying to find because he's got magic at his feet. So the stage is different. So I've seen a 17-year-old as good as that, or it may be better. But to do it for FC Barcelona, to do it for the Spanish national team, to do it in a Champions League semi-final against a team like Inter Milan, that is hard.
Yeah.
That'd be top.
Daniel?
Like, the boy be baller.
I agree. Mbappe's debut season was it 16-17. The boy banged like 26 goals, 20 plus goals. And I saw a very interesting tweet today. The guy, I think he's a Madrid fan, Nigerian guy, he went to quote a tweet from Squawka
Okay.
in 2017.
Yeah.
Where they said Mbappe had started 18 games and scored 18 goals. And he said, you notice they didn't add the assist to it. So these days, if you say goals and assists, then
so
they make the
blow-
number
you
big.
blow the
Yeah. But that time was
Remember
18,
17 was wild.
18 goals,
It was
18
really
games. I think 26 goals in all competitions. And he banged, I think, 6 goals and in 9 games in the Champions League, including that super performance against Man City. So I think he was something else. And obviously, as soon as the season was over, he went on to win the World Cup with France. So that's a different. But to be frank, again, playing for Monaco is different from playing for Barcelona. Barcelona is a different level altogether. And for me, we know Lamine Yamal is a special player. But for me, Wednesday night was different. I always have this. I always tell people I'm very difficult to please when it comes to some certain talents. I think I'm not an entertainment merchant. If you can dribble, cool. Like everybody can dribble. Desiree Doué can dribble, but to do it, and then have the end product at the end of it, to do it in the back against the wall moments. That's when, for me, like, no matter what, you earn my respect. I liked Mbappe. I thought Mbappe was a super player. But to be frank, it was a World Cup final that gave me a completely different level of respect for him. Because 2-0 down, everybody had given up. And then he literally was demanding the ball. It's not over. And then he scores 2 goals and he sends it to extra time. Brilliant.
You know, of
for
that
me
performance, again, I saw a tweet yesterday. I was like, hard. You know, the person said Mbappe delivered an all-timer World Cup performance as a right winger. Mm-hmm. And he crowned it with a win, actually. And then at the next World Cup, he delivered another all-timer World Cup performance as a left winger, and that was Qatar.
Yeah.
And he came this close to winning the competition. Not many players can say that across multiple or different World Cups.
So for me, but Wednesday night, Lamine Yamal is the maturity, the character. 2-0 down against the best defensive team in Europe this season. And the fact that he wasn't sitting or waiting for the ball to come to him. The guy was dropping deep, picking. And in fact, when the second goal went in and the camera panned to him, he was smiling. You don't smile when you are, because it is. And for me, it's the arrogance I like. Yeah. That's when I know you're a big boy player. That's when I know if I'm a fan of the team, I can depend on you. If you are laughing, I'm cool. Like, I know that you sort it out for me. So it was then where I actually told you that Barcelona will score. Yeah. They always score. And then Lamine drops deep. He picks the ball up. He gives them the first warning. Or trick-in, then the team no far, but warning sign.
He was testing the waters.
Wait, he said, okay, fine. Which spot is the spot? Yeah. Give me the ball. Then he did it again. And when he scored, you see, me, I read a lot of things. I read body language, all those things add up to let you understand what is happening in the moment. When he scored, he didn't run for the ball. He left somebody to go and pick it and turned round. That time, then the hair all make messy because Charlie and he said, calm down. A 17-year-old telling the whole stadium, I'm here.
Calm down.
Relax.
I've got this.
Don't worry. And straight after that, that's when he took this guy, Bastoni and Dimarco. He took them on a ride on the right-hand side. No, they call it sweeping. You come inside, then wham! Then they came to far. And he feeling blast away your shot on the FC24 near post, top corner. Power smash the bar. Yeah. Those things, to be frank, go and ask Messi. I spoke to Lionel Messi a couple of years ago, and he said, me and Messi there we did. Just we get some love-hate relationship. Messi will tell you, all the big players will tell you. In fact, the coaches, the psychologists will tell you. Sometimes hitting the bar is better than scoring.
Yeah. You put some fear.
Fear. And the bar, no, it's not his second half bar that the ball is there.
That's why he shook the
one.
He shook the crossbar.
Fans celebrate chances like that because they know that it's coming. Don't worry, it's just a matter of time. And then on commentary duty, I said it's just a matter of time that Barcelona will equalize or probably even go ahead before they break. The way things were going, and it was all Lamine Yamal. So for me, I like the maturity, and I feel if you're a Barcelona fan and Barcelona fans watching, they know he's not a big part player. He's not this young boy that you are hoping will have a good performance. he's the guy.
He's the guy.
Back against the wall, you know that give the ball to him and magic will happen. And not just him, Pedri also. Pedri doesn't have that aura of arrogance in the bad moments, like when you are down. But he gives this like Xavi vibe. Xavi and Busquets.
Yeah.
5-0 down, 3-0 down.
He doesn't
they are still going about their business. Cool. And sometimes that composure is very necessary. If you're a player, if you are his partner in midfield, if you're a player awaiting a pass from him, it just calms you down. And it's very, very important. That's what Arsenal didn't do. That's what Arsenal didn't have in that moment. So they wanted to rush it and make the game chaotic. But with Pedri, with De Jong, calm down, and then the boy will do his magic. So Barcelona didn't win, but Inter have struggled in the past month. I thought, and I was waiting for the game to get closer for me to be able to probably judge. But I think I made my decision after the Roma game last week when Inter lost that game. I don't think they are the same team we saw from a month ago and if you go back to the start of the season. I think they are a bit weaker. It's easier for a defensive team to manage to score 3 goals, especially when you consider that 2 came from set pieces. But it's more alarming when a very good defensive team is conceding 3. Yeah. So the point is, for me, Barcelona have taken it. I said it here a couple of weeks ago. They will create and they can score against anyone. And this was Ferran Torres leading the line, and they still scored 3 goals, and they probably should have scored more. Barcelona will go to the San Siro and they will play their game. They will create chances, they will carve Inter open. But I don't think Inter can score 3 again. But I think Barcelona have it in them to be able to create at will and get past them. So I think Barca will get past Inter. And if Lautaro is not fit for that game, that's also a serious thing. Because to be frank, when Taremi came in, that means true. Like, even on the counter, because in transition, Inter used DiMarco and later Augusto and then Dumfries. That's where the pace is. So they go diagonal and they are hoping that their full-backs or wing-backs beat the high line. They can't go through the middle and beat the high line. And there were chances. If you remember the Kubasi tackle on any other, Lautaro is scoring that because he has a bit more pace to get past him and get the angle.
Or, in fact, but for Thuram's injury, if he was actually fit,
maybe.
Because we're told that he hasn't trained for 2 weeks.
Maybe, but he's slow. He's not...
Look,
I don't think
the final thing on this Lamine Yamal thing, my only fear is the workload he's been I've never seen. The world has never seen anything like this. He's played 100 games at 17.
For only club.
Only club.
It's not like maybe close to 20 for country. Over 20 maybe.
Under 20 and then the national team.
Yeah.
Now, check this. At the age of 17, Messi had played 9 games for Barca. At the age of 17, Cristiano had played 19 games.
You were protecting him.
Hey, I really said quick.
Protecting him.
Okay. Quick. But those are 2 all-timers. Yet they manage their workload. Right? After the game, Fleck said it was true. The reports that he was giving suppressants, some painkillers, so that he could. I was like, at 17, no. Even at
warm-up time,
there
were doubts that he could start the game
like
because he.
I was like, nah, at 17, no.
It's
too early. No, it's too early to be, because what it basically means is that the body is not ready for the guy to play.
We are pushing it.
So you are pushing it and giving him. So I mentioned the Ronaldo thing.
If Barca was your team, you won't play Lamine Yamal.
It has to be managed. No. I'm saying that for games like this is a no-brainer.
Okay.
Play. But along the season, he played so many pointless games that Barca perhaps would have won. Maybe not by the same margin. Maybe not as convincingly as when he plays. But there were a lot of games where those 2 games against Leganes, Boga. And especially in the games where Bordalas will set his team up, they will come and kick him from minute 1 to. Those are games that I think you protect him from those situations. Because there was a tweet about Ronaldo that just drew. It just like I was like, this could be Ronaldo all over again. One, there was the workload.
Which one? The Brazil Ronaldo?
Yes.
Because Ronaldo right now is one.
Yeah. There was the workload, and then there was the injections that were now later told that the injections made him fat.
Oh,
his knees could no longer support.
Ronaldo, the Brazil Ronaldo.
Yes. Please, the official record is.
What is official or unofficial?
Wait.
The stories are there. You see, this is the thing about narratives that Mimpeu.
No, DK.
The stories are there.
Wait.
People have said it. Teammates have said it. They were pumping the guy.
See, there is that.
Italian Syria in the 90s.
I'm not. See, calm down.
But you know,
calm down. I'm not challenging what any of his teammates or the former doctors.
But the
have
effect
said.
he had on
I'm saying
that
there was a former Brazilian team doctor who was fired because of what he said.
Wait, I'm saying that
They were pumping the guy's knee.
I'm saying that
That will be dangerous. But Lamine, they are not doing that. Lamine is painkiller. Para is not anything.
but you see, he shouldn't get to that point.
No, but you see, to be frank, the doctors, when you can correct me, the doctors will tell you that the younger the body, the more
The faster.
So,
The
recovery
thank
time.
you. If you are pumping a 35-year-old,
It's not the same as
painkillers,
17.
it's not the best. By 17-year-old,
Sure.
but no, but to be fair, I think it's true. They need to because
to
we've
manage
seen
the
For both club and
Yeah.
country,
Yeah.
they need to manage.
manage
Gavi,
players.
Ansu
Even
Fati.
Pedri, this is the fittest he's been in the last 2 years or so.
Yeah,
And it's only because this time he's not playing under 20 and under 23 again.
Yeah.
Right?
Every played went to play this thing.
Olympics
Olympics
games,
game.
played
Chinese
everything.
way.
You under 20. Playing.
So we are beginning to see the difference between when they did load shedding for him, not do so, and then when they decided that because he's good and he was eligible for all the age competitions, he has to play. I'm just saying that, look, protect the players better, because we are looking at this guy. Is the Messi trajectory he's following.
Boss, relax.
Let's talk about Intercity.
You like some things.
Look,
Let's talk about
No, relax.
no. Decay.
Is it that people are forgotten who Messi? You may mention the name.
No, I said the trajectory.
Boga. The guy was Ballon d'Or winner at 19.
Why?
The time he chopped 19, they be Ballon d'Or
but you
winner.
don't say we go feed the PR make Lamine Yamal chop Ballon d'Or this year.
Oh, that but this year, right now if they chop Ballon d'Or, you know reach you.
But you the level.
If
Right now if they chop Ballon d'Or, you know reach you.
after what he did against Inter, if the second leg he got some guy just score again,
Bro.
when the final he can't score some winner, bro.
That's what that one.
He
There,
forgets.
that one there he go land.
And we
He
have
go
won
land.
it at 17.
But he go
And-
pay Rafinha mum
Bro,
because
he go pay Mbappe self.
he go pay Mbappe too. He go pay Dembele. But what I'm saying is that
Yeah.
this 2025 no. If you are winning Ballon d'Or in
But 2025 just
in fact,
started.
if you are winning Ballon d'Or post 2017, you know reach all the PR and this thing agenda.
Some people did 19 and since.
Now you the time Messi was winning at that period no.
Yeah.
Kaká,
Yes.
Ronaldo,
Ballers.
Messi, Ronaldo. Masa,
That time we spoke.
that
Yeah,
is
it's
that team
Yeah,
that
bro.
time pass.
Let's talk about Simone Inzaghi.
Yeah.
Clearly, something is off about the Inter team, and Daniel explained a bit of that. They don't look the same. And maybe a month ago, after 2-0, the game is done.
Yeah, but it be some way because because the Inter team coming into this game 3 games before they played Barcelona had not scored a goal.
Yeah.
They have conceded 5 goals in 3 games. So that was 1 against Bologna, the Orsolini goal, the 3 they considered in the Coppa Italia against Milan, and then the Roma 1-0. And that was a team that had not scored in those 3 games. So for them to come to the game against Barcelona at the home of Barcelona in that form and get 3 goals in itself can be a positive they will draw from, right? So they can look at that and like, okay, we've not been good coming into the game against Barca, who have been flying. They beat Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey final. They are playing well. They are winning games, scoring lots of goals. So they could look at the fact that they got 3 goals and they led the game at least twice. Could led at 1-0, they still led at 2-0, and they came to lead at 3-2. So they can draw a lot of positives from that. But you see, Barcelona is a special team. I don't think it doesn't matter how well you defend at times. Look, the 3 goals they considered, to be fair to them, the 3 goals, Barca created some scenarios that they could have defended better. But the 3 balls that entered the back of the nets, it be some way.
Yeah.
Because the Lamine Yamal first goal, bro, To be honest,
Yeah.
a lot of defenders these days don't see these things in their lives.
Yeah.
They've grown up not defending these things in their lives. Like when they go to training, nobody does it. When they play matches, nobody does it. Well, like those 34, their ballers, that's how they played. When Lamine Yamal picked the ball from the angle that he picked the ball from, I don't see any one Inter player
Who
from
would
the
have
time
anticipated.
who could have actually won the ball off him, and that was how good the dribble and the movement was.
Yeah.
It's not like somebody slacked. It's not like somebody was pulling out of a tackle. It's not like somebody should have done something when he picked the ball. The way he was dazzling and his body feints, and then the way he was carrying the ball and gliding through, it was great. Oh, and Achebi is trying to protect him, like cover, take his hand away from, and then dunk and then give him a shadow like Bonham Mommy. The boy curls as soon as the ball left the boots, you knew where the ball was headed. It was perfect. Then the second goal, again another form of perfection. Inter are happy that after Lamine Yamal scored and he did the sweeping,
yeah.
the ball hit the say okay, right now we are defending, we are Inter, we are Inter. Catanasio. Inter are sat there, they are happy to see Barca pass the ball in front of the block that they've set. Then all of a sudden the ball gets to one gentleman called Pedri. The guy passes the ball to Rafinha, and it's a inch perfect ball to the head of Rafinha. And in the process, Ferran Torres, who is not engaging the centre backs, is coming short to pick the ball from Pedri. Sees the ball go over his head to Rafinha, and he makes a late run into the box. Then Rafinha is also calm enough, sees the run of Ferran Torres, and heads the ball across for him to score. The first two goals.
Skip to what they have to, because we have to wrap up within 2 minutes.
What they have to do, they have to defend better. But you see, there are certain things you can't defend, like the 3 goals they conceded. Those ones you can't defend them. Yeah, Bisek might, but you can't. But one thing that they have to do a lot more is to frustrate Barca by keeping the ball better, because they are capable. This Barcelona team, sometimes they don't have the patience for teams that also can play the ball. So Mkhitaryan, Kahanoglu, Barella, whoever plays, keep the ball a lot better. When you have the ball, sustain it a bit more. This Barca team can be sometimes not patient, and when you do that, you are able to pick the spaces behind their high lines. But I think it's advantage Barca for me because of the way they are playing. So in some way.
All right. Happy birthday to Halidu Baba Gimba, who works at Nestle Ghana Limited as a system engineer. It's your birthday tomorrow. This message is from your wife, Hajia Hajara. Happy birthday in advance to you, Halidu Baba Gimba. Now it's time to get rewarded as the next big sports betting influencer with Betway. Place bets and share your codes with friends, fans, and followers. If they place bet using your code, you'll earn 4% of their wager. It doesn't matter if it's a win or a loss. Once they bet, you earn cash. And the more people that bet with your code, the more you'll earn. Start betting, sharing, and winning with Bet Influencer exclusive to Betway. Terms and conditions apply. This is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway, get way more. You know that our mothers carried us and they did everything for us. And that's why we should never get tired of showing appreciation once in a while. You see, it's not the shopping you do for her. It's not the mumu that you send at the end of every month or going to visit. Sometimes show them a good time, right? Give them memories that will stay with them. Thankfully and fortunately for you, we at Joy FM, we've decided that we're going to facilitate that for you by taking your mother and my mother to the Safari Day Out on Saturday, May 10 at the Safari Valley Eco Resort for an all-day experience from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Right, so just bring your mother for this excellent look. There's going to be the guided wildlife tour where you'll meet zebras, wallabies, Patagonian maras, exotic birds, and more. Then we've got the horseback riding, Segway and bicycle rides, bowling, archery, or worry, Jenga darts, and so much more. Even for the kids, there's an amusement park. So don't leave them at home. Bring the entire family to the Safari Valley Eco Resort. And of course, there's going to be food, right? We're not going to take you there and then leave you to starve. There's a sumptuous buffet lunch with freshly squeezed juices, followed by tributes to our mothers, photo moments, giveaways, and our grand Mother's Day cake cutting. And at the end of it all, there's going to be some soul-soothing music from Kwampa to lift your spirits. On the day, right, at the Safari Valley Eco Resort, Saturday, May 10th. Keep that date in mind. The rate is just 950 Ghana cedis for adults, 650 for teenagers, and 550 for children. Make sure you make your payments via Momo to the number 0593 038 842 and reference Mama. The Momo name is Daniel Boyfio. So if you need a ride, there's also a bus that will be made available at no cost at all to you. For that, call us on 0302 216450 and let's honor your mother the Joy FM way. Safari Day out with Mama because she deserved the world and just a little bit more. That's how we end today's game plan. I nearly said Joy Sports Center. Yeah, thank you so much, Sicho, for coming. Thank you, Daniel, for coming, and to Muftal, and to everyone who joined us on Game Plan today. We're back next week. Stay tuned.